Wet'suwet'en people who, even as we speak, are being beaten, brutalised and arrested by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Now this is business as usual for the RCMP. From the day of their establishment, the RCMP were infiltrating Aboriginal groups and deporting communists organising against the Canadian state. From day one, the struggle of people fighting for a better world has been bound up with those fighting to defend the conditions of their existence. And not many people will know this, but the RCMP was founded on the same principles, modelled on the Royal Irish Constabulary, the same police force which was enforcing British colonial occupation of Ireland throughout the 19th century into the early 20th century. And in the early 20th century, for the same crimes, for living by their native customs, Irish people faced often death sentences for speaking their native language, for partaking in their native cultural customs. And Irish people were being cleared from their own land for the sake of English capitalists to graze sheep which fed the booming English wool trade. At the same time, today we see the Wet'suwet'en people being cleared from their land for the sake of Canadian capital, for the sake of British and Canadian oil companies. And extractive industries and the repressive state apparatus all over the world tie us together in a common struggle. The Wet'suwet'en people stand on the front lines against climate catastrophe. But just as the ruling class model their repression of each other, just as they learn from each other, unfortunately for them, so do we. And that's why it's so important that we're here today, standing in solidarity with the Wet'suwet'en people. Our history is littered with examples of international solidarity, whether that's Palestinians showing the people of Ferguson how to stand against tear gas, or whether it's engineers in Scotland refusing to mend the planes that bombed the socialists in Chile, planes that were used in the fascist air force. And the ruling class know often better than we do that our strength is in our solidarity. And that's why it's so important today that we have stood in solidarity with Wet'suwet'en people. Because however small this starts, it begins the journey of international solidarity which has marked our history. And that is all we have to stand against the forces of colonialism, the forces of international capitalism, the forces of imperialism. Solidarity, comrades! Solidarity!